There's an epidemic in this country today that's tearing families apart and causing senseless deaths. My name is Kay Taylor, and today I would like to talk to you about what that epidemic is. If you guessed that it was opiate addiction or meth addiction or heroin addiction, then that would not be correct. The addiction that I'm talking about is something that probably a lot of you may have this addiction. I'm talking about the addiction to the smartphone or to any kind of electronic device. What is an addiction? An addiction is any time that you feel mentally or physically like you cannot live without something. So is it really possible to be addicted to a cell phone? Well, according to Wikipedia, there is actually a name for smartphone addiction, and it's called nomophobia, which actually means the fear of being without a cell phone. And as funny as that sounds, a lot of us have that fear. Who can be addicted? We're going to talk today about who can be addicted, what are the signs of cell phone addiction, and is there treatment for cell phone addiction? So first of all, who can be addicted to their cell phone? Adults and children both are addicted to cell phones or some sort of electronic device. Adults can be addicted when they use their cell phone for social acceptance. Maybe they don't have a whole lot of confidence to go out and actually talk to people. However, they feel secure to be able to talk to people online, and they can get social acceptance through their cell phone. They also can feed compulsions through this. They can have online gambling, cyber sex, all kinds of compulsions can be fulfilled through their smartphone. And it's not just smartphone. The smartphone's getting the blame, but it's actually the internet and the apps and the things that these smartphones bring to us. Children can also be addicted to their appliance, their device. The Kaiser Foundation did a study that said that 8 to 11-year-olds on average spend 8 hours a day in front of an electronic device. I had no idea it was that much. If you think about that, 8 hours out of 24 hours for an 8 to 11-year-old spent in front of an electronic device. And we wonder why our kids are obese in this nation. So what are the signs of smartphone or device addiction? There are several signs actually. First of all, if you are falling behind at work or in your home duties, things are slacking because you are taking time to surf the net, or you can't do anything because you're looking at Facebook, or all you do is play your video games on your phone, then you might have a problem that you want to look into. Another sign is isolation. A lot of times if somebody is addicted to their cell phone, they'll isolate themselves from other people. They don't need actual human contact. They have everything they need right there with their cell phone. So why would they interact with anybody in person when they have everything they need right there on their cell phone? Another sign of smartphone addiction is people actually hide to use their appliance or their cell phone because obviously somebody has complained about it or said that they thought there may be a problem. So just like an alcoholic or an overeater who hides to drink or binge, there are people who will actually hide somewhere to use their cell phone. And you may think that sounds funny, and it does, but think about how many times people go to the bathroom at work and you know they're in the bathroom on their cell phone texting or looking at Facebook or whatever. Company policy doesn't allow them to do that, so they sneak off to the bathroom to use their appliance or their smartphone. Let's see, another is fear of missing out. If you are afraid that if you haven't checked Facebook in 3 or 4 hours, something serious has happened and you're not going to know about it, or somebody got engaged and you're going to miss out on being the first one to know because you haven't looked at Facebook, and you find yourself stressing over the fact that you haven't checked Facebook or you haven't tweeted in a couple of hours, then that's probably a sign that you may have cell phone addiction. Also, one of the big things is anxiety if you don't have your phone. And I know I'm very guilty of that. If I leave home and I get to the end of my road and I realize I've forgotten my phone, I'll turn around and go back home to get it. And of course I say it's because if somebody needed to reach me, they couldn't if I didn't have my phone, or if I broke down or had a flat, I couldn't call anybody if I don't have my phone. But the real thing is, you have that anxiety when you don't have your phone, and it just is going to eat at you until you get back to your phone. So those are some of the warning signs of cell phone addiction. So is there treatment for cell phone addiction? Well, there is. Some of the things you can do, first of all, you need to recognize what triggers you to go to your cell phone. Is it boredom? If that's the case, get up and find something to do rather than look at your cell phone. It may just be coping skills. We talked about the fact that some people are not comfortable in social situations, and it's a lot easier for them to talk to people online or whatever. So it could be that you need to improve your social skills and be comfortable talking to others in person so that you don't have to hide online to talk to other people. Another thing you can do is kind of acknowledge if you have a predisposition to have an addictive personality. Do you have trouble with alcoholism? Do you overeat? Do you find that when you do something, gambling or whatever, that is fulfilling to you, that you do it over and over? It's also been shown in the Kaiser study that I mentioned that people who are addicted to cell phones get the same dopamine release as people do that have other addictions. So it is actually a true addiction, and you get the dopamine release with it as well. So now we've talked about what is addiction, what is cell phone addiction, what are the signs of cell phone addiction, how can cell phone addiction be treated. I want to challenge you to, when you have dinner tonight with your family, sit down at the table and leave everybody's cell phone, tablet, whatever you may have, in another room with the either turned off, the volume down, where you can't see it or you can't hear it. Spend at least 30 minutes just interacting with your family. You're going to take baby steps. 30 minutes tonight. Tomorrow night, increase it by 10 minutes. Increase it by 10 minutes each day until you have gotten to where you can sit with your family and spend an hour a night with them without anybody having to look or listen for their cell phone. Thank you for listening, and have a good night.